Hello to the side and back. My name is Toki Uzuru, also known as Toki, and before we get into what this video actually is, 1. Check the veil. 2. I actually do have my jewelry on today. Did I literally just decide to put the jewelry on only to film this video? Yes. And now that we're done with all of that, today's video is actually going to be me explaining the difference between occultism and witchcraft. Now, a little brief history as to how I got into researching witchcraft. So the short answer is TikTok. But it wasn't, ooh, this sounds interesting, let me go ahead and get into it directly. It's like, oh, that sounds interesting, scroll. I end up getting another video because the more videos you like of a certain thing, the more you end up getting that certain thing. Until most of my For You page gets taken over by what has been named Witch Talk. Now, although I don't get a lot of the people that I started following to learn more about their practices when it comes to witchcraft, I still get some of their videos on my For You page. I don't get a lot of them though. And one specifically that I feel would be a reliable source is a person who calls themselves Vic Moon on TikTok. They also have a YouTube channel, and I will probably be putting that in the link below. They do a lot of atheistic witchcraft, or do a lot of magical practice that has nothing to do with religion, if you're still iffy about religion specifically. And they brought this specific thing up in one of their TikToks, which I will be showing now. And when I saw that, my brain automatically thought, well, we knew this, right? Occultism and witchcraft are two different things. You can be an occultist and not be classified as a witch. We should know this, right? Then I started thinking about it a bit more. We just thought it was something everyone knew at that moment, but why? Why do we think this? And that's what started me going down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out the difference between occultism and witchcraft. So you're about to go on a journey with me. Now, there are two things that I already knew before I went down this rabbit hole. And that is, one, I classify witchcraft as the nature-based spiritual path. So it's basically using the spiritual energy of the universe or the earth in your everyday life. And 2, what I originally thought occultism was just a broader term for supernatural practice. So what I thought the difference between occultism and witchcraft is occultism is the broader term. Witchcraft is being very specific. But what is it being specific on? Is it the spiritual aspect of it? So I started with one thing that I did not specifically know, and that is the definition of occultism. But before I get on specifically occultism, I have to go ahead and specify the definition of occult, which for the sake of this video is any supernatural, mystical, or magical beliefs, practices, or phenomena. And now that we know that, we can get into occultism. Now, any word with the suffix ism just means it's some sort of organized thing. And for basic terms, for the sake of this video, I will define occultism as the study of the supernatural paranormal, mystical, or magical. Anything that has to do with a superstition, similar to step on a crack, you break your mother's back. Don't know how that happens, but it happens. Or do not cross paths with a black cat on Friday the 13th. Again, I don't know how they create these things. So like things that you can't, supernatural or paranormal things that you cannot explain through science alone. Mainly because it can't be completely tested and experimented on. Cool, now that we have a good idea of what occultism is, so now we're on to defining witchcraft, which I think I already did in a previous video, and if you want to go ahead and see that video, it's right there. However, again, for the sake of this video, I will go ahead and give a decent enough definition that we can work with. When you search up witchcraft definition, you end up getting religious practice involving magic and affinity with nature. However, you don't have to be religious in order to be able to practice witchcraft. So what I would classify it as an individual's supernatural influence on the natural world. Essentially, being able to see and control the unseeable and less tangible. Essentially, it is the belief of you possessing supernatural powers to influence the world and the practice of using said influence. I am actually reading all of this from page right now, so if I seem like I'm a bit lost, that's why. Now that we have the definitions out of the way, we can go ahead and have a better understanding of the basic form of these terms. Now later on in a different video, Vic actually explains what she believes the difference between occultism and witchcraft is. And the consensus of that is witchcraft itself is a label that you could put on whatever folk magic that you decide to practice. And occultism is the study and practice of all things supernatural, magical, mystical, or paranormal. So with all of this in mind, what did I find to be the difference between occultism and witchcraft? And my answer is depending on how you feel about the label of being a witch. Because there are some cultures out there that being a witch is being called a witch is offensive. There are also other cultures that wouldn't classify their practices as witchcraft. So depending on what specific folk magic and or spiritual practice you're in or using, you don't have to use the term witchcraft or the other term witch. However, that is again just my understanding of both terms and what they mean. So in the debate of witch versus occultist, it all depends on what term you're comfortable using. Anyways, I am actually done with this video, and I will conclude the video by doing the stereotypical YouTuber outro, where I, as a stereotypical YouTuber, would 1, continue to look out the window, and 2, ask you to do the following. If you like this video, or if you want to see more of me getting very confused at what labels are specifically used for what, you can go ahead and press the like button. If you want to see more videos on me specifically talking about my practice or spiritual path, or just in general, the folk magic, nature-based spiritual path, otherwise known as witchcraft, you can go ahead and press the subscribe button and turn on notification bell to all notifications just to be notified of whenever my videos come out. If you have any type of questions, comments, concerns on this specific video, or you want to go ahead and just give me more ideas on videos I can do, you can put all of that in the comments section below. You can find the link to Vic's YouTube channel either there or in the description box below, as well as my links to my Twitter and Instagram, which I usually don't talk about, but it's there. It's always there. And with all that being said, my name is Toki Uzuru, also known as Toki, and this is Toki saying, Toki out.